I wanna I wanna debunk a lot of different things about the overseas shit. And this is the thing, right? A few years ago, Brian Solange tried to tell me about this dude tried to tell me that Korean dudes are all gay or homosexual. And I tried to tell this dude, I said, dude, they get more sex than you do. And you said you don't like them. But I bet you that they can show you pictures. They can pull any girl you know who like K-pop, any black girl you know who like K-pop, and bang them on tape with their small members and all. They run through a whole bunch of women. I said, you can't tell women what they find attractive. You just have to try to compete against it or understand if you can win in that market or not. So he's like, yeah, right, blah, 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 blah. Then he exposed himself for being an anti-passport guy. And that's when I said, oops, I gotta go. Then, and then he was connected to a mass shooter. His site, blackavenger.com had a connected mass shooter in there who tried to shoot up a thing that was on that had on their content, and it went downhill from there. And he couldn't come on here like he used to and spout his mouth off and say all this dumb shit that he'd been saying. And I loved it. So this was 2 years in the making. And it made me find out, like, what are all the attractive guys around the world and what they look like. And I was going to make another video and I was going to show you couples, overseas couples, right? I was going to show you different types of guys in relationship with different types of women. And then we would show you that other races of men and men overseas, it kind of exposed that you have a better chance of getting women that look incredibly good looking than you do over here, because there's certain guys that look a certain way that people would think that they don't get girls, but they do, but they just stay in their country and their culture. This is why men are going overseas, because they got more of a better chance of getting a better looking woman and a better looking deal than they do in a country where they absolutely get nothing. Nothing but an ugly chick. So we're going to see all of the good looking men that I can find on Google that all the women find attractive in certain countries. So let's go. So I found the most attractive men in Mexico. Let's see what they look like, and let's see if these guys, other men would think that these guys get women or not. So these are the guys who are considered handsome in their culture. Now, I'm trying to go to the least one. Let's go here. So these are the guys who considered the most attractive in Mexico. Now there's many more guys, but we're gonna go to the most attractive in South Korea. Now, you're going to see a sort of trend when it comes down to the men in South Korea. They have a more feminine feature, but I bet you they can pull more women than a lot of these black dudes. Because they don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff there in that culture. That's the reason why it's beneficial. There's a reason why a lot of these dudes won't ever win overseas. A lot of women stay in their preference. Some of them are as stubborn as the American women, but some of them are flexible, but some of them are basically stubborn when it comes down to their preference. Now, do this guy look like he can pull a whole bunch of women? But he can, because he's considered top 15 handsome Korean actors. So if you seen him on the street, do you think he would be able to get women? That's for you to judge. But I bet you he'll be tap dancing all over the Korean women, in and out. He'd probably be having tons of them. And I bet you I bet you a lot of these dudes are very humble. They're standing when it comes down to them getting women. And they don't try to shit on the men who don't get women. They're not like black dudes, where they shit on everybody and think they can, sell them game improvement and stuff. That's why there's no self-improvement artists in Mexico or in South Korea by that matter. Wow. You think he gets women? Yeah, he do. In South Korea. And I'm going to show you the access that these guys have when it comes down to their women. And show you how these women look 10 times better than the women here who have these stupid ass standards and whatever. Right? This whole video is about telling you this is how you understand a market overseas. You don't just go and say women are like this everywhere, because there's women that won't even fuck with any rappers over here. That's the reason why some of these rappers this is the reason why these rappers stay here. Because there's women in the entertainment overseas will never touch them with a 10-foot pole, because well, they're not attractive in their culture. It's all about the culture. But hey, let's continue. This guy pulls a lot of women. He pulled a lot of women. He pulled a lot of women. And mind you, these are guys that are 35 years old. A lot of these guys are old. And they don't even look old as shit. They don't even look old. They look young. But hey, remember, these are the guys that said women are the same everywhere. If women are the same everywhere, they would like the same group of men that women in America like. But they don't. They got their own types of differences. So you can't say, well, women are the same everywhere, because if they were the same everywhere, they would like the same type of men. I can tell you right now, any rapper that goes overseas, they won't be able to pull women away from him. Seriously, they won't. I seen a whole bunch of white dudes, average looking white dudes, celebrities, who white women just connect to. And a rapper come in, the best looking rapper will go in, and the women would just still pay attention to that guy. The dude will lose like at least 2 or 3% of the women that like him just for experimentation, but the rest of the women will still pay attention to the white guy they're attracted to. You can't change that fact. But hey, Women are the same everywhere, huh? Hmm. Women are the same everywhere, right? Women are the same everywhere, right? So there's a thing, right? There's a reason why a lot of men travel overseas, because a lot of women, some of them get sick of their men and they want to try something new. The percentage of that has increased because of different variants of feminism, or the sick of feminism. There's a lot of countries right now that are at 80% feminism, and their country is falling apart. And a lot of the women regret taking sides of feminism, but a lot of these women are very young. A lot of these women have played around in their teenage years, and as soon as they hit 21, they oh, I don't want this no more. But by that time, the men don't like them no more for how they treated them, because feminism. So that's opened up the market for overseas guys. Now, I was in the comment section going back and forth with one of these guys. So, I forgot what it was. I forgot what I was doing. I think I was downloading Deadpool 2, and Logan. And this dude was talking about how men overseas, all the passport bros have been fat, unattractive guys. And then I asked the guy, I said, hey man, so you telling me that we're in the world, the whole United States have like 100 million beautiful women? And he wouldn't, this guy was so bitch made and so feminized that he wouldn't even insult women. So I'm like, all the anti-passport women, are they all attractive? He wouldn't say it. He wouldn't say not one word about them until I called them out on it. And then he finally said, well, they're not running no beauty contest. And I'm saying, wait, but you use real colorful words towards men traveling, but you ain't doing to the women who are single, who have these great jobs and all this money, but you never talk about them not having no social skills. They're unattractive. They're not going to the gym. And they got power problems, power dynamic problems. And I'm obsessed with power, keeping power. So you can call Korean men feminists, you can call them whatever you think you want to call them. But you can't go into their country and you can't take a high percent of their women. You will lose. This is why I have to say before, never, ever, ever never listen to people who say they the best and they don't have rivals. And they're not going into places where they have rivals. I made that video years ago. Don't listen to people who don't got no rivals. Right? And he's like, oh, why would we listen to you? I have rivals. I'm at the pot. I'm not at the highest level. So everybody's my rival until I'm at the top. What are you talking about? I'd rather listen to another content creator who has the same problems as me instead of listening to a person who think they better than me, but they're sitting in the pool of people who they better than, but they don't have somebody that they rival. A lot of these guys, self-improvement artists, the Coach Greg Adams couldn't go to Korea and steal women from these celebrities. That's why I laugh at these dudes, because I always ask these guys, I said, y'all say y'all be fucking people's women. Did y'all ever take women from porn stars, celebrities, entertainers, and anything else like that? And they say no. They can't say anything. That's like, I asked Rosanella Curry the same question when he was alive. I say, hey, you're talking shit, but why haven't you stole any women from porn stars? And he like, oh, what they got to do? And I'm like, oh, why didn't you steal nobody from porn stars? So you go after guys who you know women don't really like them like that, and they only win them with certain things. You just go after them, and you think that you can make books about that, right? These are considered the handsome guys in Korean culture. So there's more and more that you can see. A lot of these guys standards in looks varies across the world. There's women that we think is beautiful that in their culture they're ugly as hell. That is the opportunity that you can get to if a girl is considered ugly, but she could come to America and get $1 million modeling deal. You with the top tier girl. Why would I sit in a place where I'm at the lowest level instead of me leveling up going somewhere else where I am a rarity? That's stupid if you want to sit. It's dumb and it's not smart in life to be in a place where your value is low and stay in that place where your value is low and try to get yourself up because you're never going to get up to that level. That's a failing. It's a failing. It's a failing effort. The smart move is going into a new market where you become rare and you become a top person. That's like staying in a team. That's like Michael Jordan being on a bad basketball team back then, and then he never joined the Bulls. But when he, I forgot when he went with the Bulls. Let me find out about Jordan because don't want to be talking sports. Somebody gonna be like, yeah, man, that's not how it was. That's not how it was. Michael Jordan, right? This is how these guys look. You can't compete in their market. The market was made for them. You can compete in their market, but you ain't gonna dominate that market. But at least that market might have a few people that you are not used to or you couldn't get in a certain market that you stayed in. Like MOT say, you got to get a better deal. So Michael Jordan been on the same team for a very long time. So imagine that if he wasn't on the Bulls, would we? You think Jordan would be at where he at, or he'd be somewhere else? Just when he was on the Wizards, he was a lot older, but he was past his prime. It's always smart to go in a different market in order to gain an advantage. But I think that these people don't want you to go nowhere because they want to feel like they're better than you and they want to keep being better than you. So they want to keep you here. But if women are the same everywhere, that means they can date Korean women and grab at least 10, 15 Korean women based off how they do good here. But they don't get Korean women because then they'll try to blame racism. Oh yeah, the white guys get them. No, they just don't not attracted to you because you don't have that so-called swag or this other stuff. Your American culture doesn't translate well to their culture. See, that's the difference that these guys are not talking about. They talking about you have to go and pay. But it's sometimes that who you are here doesn't translate well because the people here are not relatable and connectable. So you go somewhere else, and that might be the best. That might be the best place you might go to connect with people, and it works. So we have Let's see. The most attractive men in Japan. Now let's see, guys. Look, these are not your typical guys. A lot of them don't have tattoos. It's funny that I don't see no guys in the top rank having all these tattoos, face tattoos, and all that other shit, right? That tells you a lot about their representation when it comes down to their highest representation in their country instead of the highest representation in this country, who they try to push to being the most attractive. It's funny to me, man. It is so funny to me, yo. Women are the same everywhere. Like, these guys can jump over to another country and just grab a handful of women and say, I can get all these women and steal these women away from their men. Yo, black dudes, man, y'all some arrogant. Yeah, to be in the lower tier when it comes down to race and everything else. Y'all really think that BBC shit matters, man? I can tell you straight away, man. There's Asian chicks that will rather take the smallest guy in the bedroom than take the biggest guy in the bedroom, because guess what? This guy has what she want because she has a culture. Her culture is not to portray her men, unlike black men and black women. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black women are known to turn on black men just for the hell of it, for more power, for more resources. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. But a lot of other races, you're not going to pull them away from their men unless they're in a mindset where they feel they're not getting what they want, and they're going to go to you. And it's up to you not to fuck it up to make it worthwhile, because they're going to get a lot of flack for going with a person who's black or something else. It's not always, the funny thing is, it's not always the women who are in destitute situations where they're, they single moms and all this other shit, just like dudes are sitting there trying to act like that. No, it's pretty much they get sick of being a part of a group of people who don't appreciate them. Kind of just like how black men feel in this country. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of women who feel unappreciated. And they want to be appreciated. That's just the thing, the commonality that happens with men that goes overseas. Not everybody is going to be the fine guy or the happy guy or the lucky guy. The whole point of relationships was to find that in another person and keep that person around for a very, very long time. It wasn't to be all in one. Because then when you're all in one, you won't need the other person. That's the reason why all these people break up so fast. Because they don't really essentially need each other. They think they don't. But in other cultures, they have a thing where they actually need each other. So if a guy is not social and he with a woman who's social, he's going to keep that woman around a long, long time because she makes him more social. Because once that woman is gone, he know what it's like to be social, but he don't want to be social because, well, it's not worth it no more. He need to have somebody there that's worth it. He might be social when it comes down to work or anything else, but as far as personal life, he don't want nobody else. He'd rather socialize with a person he trusts and he cares about, which is his wife. There's a lot of older couples who tell you that they're with their wife or they with their husband because their husband got qualities that she doesn't have, or qualities that the husband don't have and lack of, and that's why he with that wife. That's why you have long-term couples in other countries in long-term relationships with the previous generations, because they was with each other and they made each other better together. It wasn't about building no empire. It was about making a whole different dimension, making each other happier by being together. And other countries and other cultures get it. But feminism has destroyed certain things and gives certain women away. And these women who do want the men don't want them no more. So they have to, their second choice and their choice they have to make is going with a person who's a foreigner. This is the reason why they like American white men and American black men, because now they get a second chance to prove the fact that what they did was wrong. So it's not whatever they try to say. Have you noticed a lot of them don't have long hair? A lot of them don't have facial hair. And a lot of them don't have tattoos or anything like that, right? And a lot of them don't have muscles. It's funny that we try to tell ourselves that other races love us so much, but then we try to throw racism at everything just because we don't get our way. Instead of just saying, hey man, this girl is not, she don't find me attractive, so I'll move on. Like, some of these guys look like straight females, and they can still pull the finest women in their culture. It's insane to pretend like these guys are not